Super Mario Kart for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System is the iconic title that launched one of Nintendo's most successful series, blending fast-paced racing with chaotic power-ups, colorful tracks, and Mario Universe charm. Released in 1992, this game established a genre of its own, becoming a pioneering title for kart racing games and laying the foundation for a franchise that would become a staple in multiplayer gaming. Super Mario Kart was born out of a desire by Nintendo's developers to create a fun, multiplayer racing experience for the Super Nintendo. Nintendo's producer Shigeru Miyamoto and director Hideki Konno were instrumental in the game's development, drawing inspiration from F-Zero, another Nintendo racer that emphasized speed and futuristic tracks, but only offered a single-player experience. The goal was to bring an entertaining, multiplayer racer to life, packed with unique, character-driven gameplay that would attract casual and dedicated players alike. A major innovation in the development was the use of the Super Nintendo's Mode 7 graphics, which allowed for a pseudo-3D look that gave tracks more depth and made movement smoother. This visual technique was used extensively to create tracks that felt dynamic and immersive, an effect that was groundbreaking in 1992. Additionally, the developers introduced power-ups, allowing players to strategically affect one another's performance, adding both depth and chaos to every race. This game-changing feature would soon become the hallmark of the Mario Kart series. While the game doesn't have a detailed story, the premise is simple and lighthearted, fitting the game's fun and competitive nature. It's set in the colorful, familiar world of Mario, and players race as iconic characters from the Mario series, including Mario, Luigi, Princess Peach, Yoshi, Bowser, and others. Each racer is competing to win the Grand Prix, which is split across multiple cups: Mushroom Cup, Flower Cup, Star Cup, and the challenging Special Cup. The game also includes the entertaining Battle Mode, where players aim to pop each other's balloons in an arena, adding a new layer of challenge and skill to the racing formula. While there's no narrative beyond the competition itself, Super Mario Kart sets up an imaginative and engaging world, where Mario characters face off in kart races across fun-themed courses. The gameplay is what makes it truly legendary. The game brought together innovative mechanics and design choices that would define the kart racing genre for years to come. Players could choose from 8 iconic Mario characters, each of whom has unique stats that influence their performance on the track. For instance, heavier characters like Bowser and Donkey Kong Jr. have higher top speeds but slower acceleration, making them better suited for skilled players who can handle their reduced maneuverability. Lighter characters like Yoshi and Princess Peach accelerate quickly and are easier to handle, appealing to newer players or those who prefer nimble handling. The use of Mode 7 graphics was groundbreaking, as it gave the console the ability to simulate 3D environments by rotating and scaling background layers. This allowed for tracks that appeared to twist and turn in pseudo-3D, creating a more immersive and challenging experience than other racing games of the time. The game's tracks, from Donut Plains to Rainbow Road, are diverse in theme and difficulty, with obstacles, hazards, and sharp turns that test players' skills. Power-ups became the defining feature of the game and the Mario Kart series. By driving through item boxes, players could collect items that offer both offensive and defensive capabilities. Red and green shells could be launched at opponents to knock them out of the way, while bananas serve as obstacles for following racers. Other items include mushrooms for speed boosts, the invincibility star, and lightning bolts that shrink all opponents. This power-up system added a layer of unpredictability, keeping races exciting and competitive right up to the finish line. Super Mario Kart offered a 2-player split-screen mode that allowed players to race head-to-head. In addition to standard races, the game introduced Battle Mode, a unique game type that pits players against each other in small arenas, where they must pop each other's balloons with items. Battle Mode was one of the first of its kind in gaming, and introduced a fun, strategic competition that extended the game's replayability. This mode became an iconic part of the Mario Kart series, remaining a popular feature in future titles. Time Trial Mode was a single-player challenge that tasked players with racing against the clock to achieve the best possible time on each track. This feature added replayability for players who wanted to master each course and improve their skills without AI competitors. Time trials became a beloved aspect of the series and contributed to the game's appeal by challenging players to beat their own records. It is widely credited as the game that popularized kart racing, spawning a genre of similar games from both indie and major developers. After its release, titles like Crash Team Racing, Diddy Kong Racing, and Sonic and All-Stars Racing followed, each aiming to capture the same chaotic fun. The game's use of Mode 7 graphics technology allowed for smoother, more dynamic racing than most other games. This graphical feat helped create the illusion of 3D space, a technique that was considered revolutionary for the time and contributed greatly to the game's popularity and acclaim. While future entries would see characters using unique items tied to their personalities, Super Mario Kart kept its power-ups generic for all racers. This allowed players to focus more on each character's driving stats rather than their items, a design choice that simplified gameplay and made it accessible to a wide audience. Developers originally drew inspiration from F-Zero, a high-speed futuristic racer also developed by Nintendo. However, because F-Zero didn't have multiplayer capability, the development team wanted to create a racing game where two players could compete. This vision eventually evolved into Super Mario Kart, leading to its more lighthearted and chaotic gameplay. Rainbow Road, the final track of the Special Cup, is one of the most iconic and challenging tracks, known for its colorful design, absence of guardrails, and difficulty. This track became so popular that it has appeared in nearly every Mario Kart game since, with various renditions and updates that keep it a fan favorite. Super Mario Kart was one of the games that helped Nintendo establish itself as a leader in local multiplayer experiences, a reputation it still holds. The game's accessibility and engaging multiplayer mechanics made it a hit at parties and family gatherings, setting a precedent for Nintendo's future approach to social and family-friendly gaming. It wasn't just a groundbreaking title at the time of its release, it became a cultural phenomenon that inspired an entire genre. Its intuitive controls, innovative use of power-ups, and imaginative track designs created a blueprint that would shape not only future Mario Kart games, but also racing games across the industry. As of today, Mario Kart is one of Nintendo's most successful franchises, beloved by players of all ages and spawning countless sequels across every major Nintendo console. Beyond its legacy in kart racing, Super Mario Kart demonstrated the power of the Super Nintendo Entertainment System hardware and marked an important milestone in local multiplayer gaming. Nintendo's creative approach to gameplay ensured that the game always remained entertaining, unpredictable, and engaging, qualities that have defined the series and helped it achieve decades of success. Even now, it remains a nostalgic favorite and an important part of gaming history, showcasing Nintendo's knack for innovation and fun. For many fans, Super Mario Kart is the game that introduced them to the joys of multiplayer gaming and served as a gateway to the world of Mario's many adventures. With a formula that perfectly balanced simplicity, accessibility, and depth, Super Mario Kart remains a cherished classic that left a lasting mark on the gaming world.